Hi everybody, my name is Dan and welcome to another episode of Man Cake. Today we're going to start off with my favorite all-time holiday dessert, pumpkin pie. Who doesn't love it? I think it's more classic than apple pie or cherry pie. And if you couldn't tell, by all of October, I'm a huge fan of pumpkin, so it's yummy. And this video is going to start off November's series of Battle of the Pies. Or, that doesn't sound right. Game of Pies. It's going to start off Game of Pies. Kind of like Game of Thrones, but with pies. It'll be fun. So how it's going to work is I'm going to go ahead and bake a pie. Well, I'm going to bake a lot of pies throughout the entire month, but I'm going to be posting them on Twitter, on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and wherever you guys follow. I want you to go ahead and vote for your favorite one. You can do that with a like or a share or a comment, and then at the end of the month we'll go ahead and we'll celebrate which pie won out, which I'm a little biased, so I think it's going to be pumpkin, but I guess we'll have to wait to find out. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you know when brand new recipes are available. And plus, look how fancy that subscribe button is. You should probably just click it. And just a note, all the pies throughout November are going to be doing just my standard pie crust recipe. Very simple, couple ingredients, does not take long at all. But if you do prefer to use frozen pre-made pie crust, you're more than welcome to. It's all on how you want to make it. But you should probably just give the homemade pie crust a chance. Like I said, it's very easy. So to get started, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And let's get started. Now for our pie crust, we're going to take a regular sized mixing bowl. And we're going to add 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, a half cup of brown sugar, a half teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Now we're just going to go ahead and whisk them all together. Now once those are whisked, we're going to add in 10 tablespoons of cold butter. Usually the recipes here, I call for room temperature, but we want to make sure that these are nice and cold and stay in the fridge until you're ready to add them into our dough mix. So let's go ahead and toss these in. Now we just want to mix the butter into our flour mix until we have a nice crumbly mixture. And perfect, nice and crumbly. Now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of cold ice water. And we're going to mix well with our hands until we get a nice dough ball. And there we go, a nice little pie crust dough ball. And we didn't have to go to the freezer aisle in the grocery store to get it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our dough ball and get it ready into our pie pan. Go ahead and plop this in. Now all we want to do is just flatten the dough out on the bottom of the pan. Pull it up to the sides. And we just want to keep pressing it up until we have a nice, good amount on the sides. Now, depending on what size pie pan you are using, you might have some excess dough, and that's okay. Just go ahead and use as much as you want, and then just trim around the excess. And I think we're almost there. It's nice and perfect, because after all, pie is always about the crust. The filling is important too, but the crust, it's like the crown jewel. And there we go. There's our homemade pie crust. Now what we can do is we're going to go ahead and let this chill out in the fridge while we work on the rest of our pie. Now the pie crust is chilling, we're going to go ahead and start on our pumpkin cream filling. All you're going to need is 15 ounces of pumpkin, 3 eggs, 3/4 cups of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese. Just using a regular handheld mixer, we're going to go ahead and beat all those ingredients until we have a nice creamy pumpkin filling. And there's our pumpkin cream filling. Ooh, almost spilled it out over the counter. Now we can go ahead and pour this into our pie crust and get baking. So let's go ahead and pour this in. No pumpkin left behind. Want to make sure to get all this yumminess. Get our nuts a little smooth over. And now we bake, just for 70 to 75 minutes. You'll know it's done when your pie doesn't have any kind of jiggle to it. It's not Will Smith, so it's not going to get jiggy with it. It's a pumpkin pie. So with our pumpkin pie almost done in the oven, which it smells so good. I'm so excited. So what we get to do now is we get to make our homemade whipped topping. Now you can do this with a hand mixer, but if you have a stand mixer, we're gonna go ahead and use the whisk attachment today. So let's get this started, shall we? We're gonna add 2 cups of heavy cream into our mixing bowl. Then we're gonna go ahead and whisk it on a high speed until the heavy cream starts to thicken. Now with our heavy cream nice and thick, we can go ahead and add our last 2 ingredients. I guess that's 4. 2 ingredients. You're going to want to add 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar and a ½ teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Now we're going to go ahead and continue to whisk these ingredients until soft peaks start to form. And there's our homemade whipped topping. Well, it happens. Let's go get cleaned up and see if our pumpkin pie is ready. Okay, so our pie is baked, cooled, our whipped cream is set and ready to go. Now we get to slice right into it. And the best part, the taste test, obviously. So let's go ahead and cut right into this. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that, perfect. Nice, jiggly, still kind of warm. And now for the whipped cream. Now the whipped cream, usually what I like to do is I like to give a nice little blanket of whipped cream around the pie. But because the pie is still a little warm, I didn't want the whipped cream to melt. But you can always just put a nice little dollop on the side or on top of the slice, however you want to do it. Now, let's get a bite. It's pumpkin, it's creamy, it's delicious. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you try this out and how it works out. Well, that's all I have for you today. As always, give this video a thumbs up. And that fancy subscribe button can use some company, so be sure to give that a click so you know when brand new recipes are available. And don't forget to like up your favorite pie on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest, wherever you tend to be these days. I know I'm everywhere. And as always, life is short, so lick the bowl. Or eat the pie. Until next week, bye!